her participating in tonight's discussion.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate the time that I'm being allotted here this evening, joining with my colleagues in the Congressional Black Caucus to answer the question that was posed to us by this president. I rise to answer President Trump's question to the black community. Now, all throughout his campaign, President Trump declared that black people all across this country just live in hell and fear each day, and we may be shot on the street. Basically said we have nothing, our education is no good, on and on and on. And then he went on to say that only he can solve the challenges African Americans face. Unfortunately, this kind of talk is typical of this president, boasting, bragging, making promises. This president will say anything, promise anything, of course, with no intention of living up to his promises. One should not believe anything he has to say. As a matter of fact, the African American community understands very well when these kind of empty promises are made. As a matter of fact, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that the presidents of the historically black colleges and universities organized, put together a proposal, and they went to meet with the president at the White House. They didn't even have an opportunity to present the proposal. They were just ushered around in a photo op, and that was all that happened, without any real conversation, without any proposals being produced. And so they were treated in a disrespectful way. And this basically is what I've decided we can expect from the president. His budget and policy priorities reveal his true intentions and what so many of us already know about this president. He really doesn't care about the issues facing the African American community, and he doesn't care to learn about those issues or advance any meaningful legislation to provide jobs and economic opportunities for our nation's most vulnerable communities. If you take a look at Trump's HUD budget, you find a $6 billion reduction. He wants to eliminate the Community Development Block Grant Program, which supports our cities and various urban renewal projects. He wants to eliminate the Home Investment Partnership Program. This president wants to eliminate the Choice Neighborhood Program, and he wants to eliminate the Home Ownership Program, and on and on and on. And just last week, this president tried and failed to repeal the Affordable Care Act. If that unconscionable bill had passed, 14 million people would have lost insurance coverage next year, and the American people would have seen billions in dollars in Medicaid cuts. Trump's empty promises do not end with the budget. He has also filled his cabinet with millionaires and billionaires who don't have a clue about the challenges facing the African American community. Trump's Treasury Secretary was known as the foreclosure king, who profited off of the backs of vulnerable homeowners during the 2008 recession. Trump's education secretary knows nothing about public education, did not attend public schools, children didn't attend public schools, and was not chosen to repair public education. She has chosen to break it. Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who lied under oath before the Senate, opposed the Violence Against Women Act, and he has taken hardline positions against our efforts to reform the criminal justice system, which disproportionately incarcerates African Americans. But of course, we knew about his background and his history and what he is known for, and that is discrimination, disrespect for African Americans. Mr. Speaker, my position against this president and his administration is clear. I oppose this president. I do not honor this president. I do not respect this president. He has disrespected the office and offended so many people across this country and around the world with his disgusting and indecent rhetoric against women, the black community, Muslims, immigrants, and disabled Americans. Mr. Speaker, it is not just the African American community who will lose under this president. It is everyone who isn't a millionaire or billionaire that stands to lose under this administration. I will continue to oppose him and fight him every step of the way. And while I'm talking about where he has put his priorities, and of course, I think the budget really does reflect your priorities. He's reduced the education budget by 13%, $9 billion less than last year, $168 billion increase for charter schools, 50% above current levels. Let's take a look at labor. Reduces the budget by 21%, $2.5 billion decrease from last year. Health and Human Services decreased funding by $15 billion, the lowest in 20 years, reducing funding for the National Institute of Health by 19%. Environmental Protection Agency reduces the budget by 31%, from $8.1 million to $5.7 billion. I'm sorry, $8.1 billion to $5.7 billion. Housing and Urban Development, again, reducing the budget by just about $6 billion, 13.2%. Claims he cares about small business, reduces SBA budget by 5%, $43.2 billion less than last year. And it goes on and on and on. Homeland Security increases the budget by only 6.8% to $44 billion, even though he claims that he cares a lot about the security of this country. What am I saying? I'm simply saying that African Americans have struggled and fought historically. Many African Americans have paid a huge price fighting for justice and equality in this country, have died for it. I don't have to call the names of Martin Luther King and all of the others. We have paid a price, we have fought, but guess what? Despite the fact that America has not always been there for us, we have always been there for America. We have fought in America's wars. We have suffered discrimination. We have suffered isolation and undermining, but we stand up for America oftentimes when others who think they're more patriotic, who say they're more patriotic, do not. When we fight against this president and we point out how dangerous he is for this society and for this country, we're fighting for the democracy. We're fighting for America. We're saying to those who say they're patriotic, but they turn a blind eye to the destruction that he's about to cause this country. You're not nearly as patriotic as we are. We not only have fought in America's wars, have stood up for America, have been there whenever this country was threatened in any way. And we say now that this country is threatened with a president who does not belong there, a president who does not understand how this government works, a president who goes down to Mar-a-Lago every weekend and plays golf. He's not huddling with the members of Congress and trying to figure out how to form a consensus, but rather he's thought he could come in here and run roughshod over everybody. But that's how he works. That's how he acts. He's not good for America. African Americans know this. The Black Caucus understands this. And for those members of the Black Caucus representing our leadership who went to meet with him, they have laid out to him all of this, what our care and concerns are all about. But in the final analysis, we really don't expect anything from him. And my mission and my goal is to make sure that he does not remain president of the United States of America. I yield back the balance of my time.
Representative Waters, thank you very much for your comments on this very timely matter. Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry on how much time we have remaining.